If you're in a sexless relationship, then this video is for you because today I'm going to share why you're in a sexless relationship, the impact of a sexless relationship, but most importantly, the 5 steps that you need to take in order to get out of this sexless relationship. And man, I understand it hurts. You feel rejected, you feel humiliated, and you're not even sleeping together, or maybe you are sleeping together, but you're on separate sides of the bed. And I was married for 20 years and went through this myself. So keep watching because this is what we're going to talk about today's video. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping videos every week. Woo! Okay, so yeah, I was married before, and most of that marriage, I was in a sexless marriage, all right? And you don't even have to be married to be in a sexless relationship, all right? And it sucks. It's humiliating. Us guys, we love sex. We love affection. And when you're with somebody who basically doesn't want to be touching you in any way or has always these excuses, it's hard to come home to someone and that situation that's like that. So I'm going to get into this video first on, why men are in a sexless relationship, the impact that has on the relationship, and then stick around for a little bit, a few more minutes, and I'll get into what you should do and the 5 steps and how to get out of a sexless relationship. Okay, so first, all right, the truth is this, gentlemen. If you're in a sexless relationship, she doesn't desire you anymore. She's checked out, and I'm sorry, there's no recovery. Once again, if you're in a sexless relationship or a sexless marriage, there's nothing you can do. She doesn't desire you anymore. She's checked out. There's no recovery. There's no couples therapy that will fix it. So stop believing that it's going to get better, all right? It's done. It's over. She is checked out, literally. And this has happened to me before. And imagine this. Imagine being in a sexless marriage for basically 15 years. And at the end, when we went to couples therapy, it was a disaster. I do not encourage you guys to ever go to couples therapy. If you're going to go to therapy, go by yourself, because you go to couples therapy, it just becomes this bitch session, and she's just going to bitch about you the whole time. And guess what? The therapist, if the therapist starts to hold her accountable for her part of the problems, she will then turn around and say, you know what? I don't like that therapist anymore. And then you end up going to another therapist, okay? So it's a fucking crapshoot. Don't bother with couples therapy. And like I said, because it's already over, all right? And there's nothing you could do to fix it. There's nothing, no money that you could spend to make her happy and fix it. And true story, when at the tail end of my marriage and she knew I was going to leave, she's like, well, what could we do? What could I do to keep you, basically? And I said, well, I want to have more sex. Number one, we were only having sex like once a year. So she's like, well, how much sex do you want to have? And I'm like 3-4 times a week. And then she's like, whoa, let's ease into it. And I'm like, ease into it? You're my wife. You're my wife. What is there to ease into? So that was number one. And then I'm like, I want to touch your boobs. And I know this sounds crazy, and I'm saying this on my YouTube channel, but yeah, it got to the point where she didn't want me touching her down there, and she didn't want me touching her breasts. You know what's strange? Women in this type of situation where they're in a sexless, where the man's in a sexless relationship, she'll be more apt to let him touch her down there than her breasts. For some reason, the breasts are like more, she's protecting that even more than her own vagina. So I'm like, I want to be able to touch your breasts. And she's like, whoa, again, I need to warm up to it. I'm like, you're my wife. What's there to warm up to? So guys, there's no recovery. It's done. It's over. And that's the truth, okay? So second thing I want to talk about in terms of sexless relationships is the patterns that men ignore, okay? It's a gradual thing. It doesn't happen overnight where all of a sudden you're in a sexless relationship. You wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? It's the little things that happen along the way. She starts saying, oh, your drive is too high, and so can we do it in 3 days, or we're doing it too much. Maybe we only do it 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever. I'm always tired, and just fucking excuses. And it's just this gradual drip Japanese torture technique where it's like drip, drip, drip on the forehead. You don't really notice it, but over time, you've got this huge hole in your head, basically, right? So, so that's another thing. Warning signs. The kissing has changed. If you're in a sexless relationship, I guarantee that at one point the kissing changed. You were no longer using tongue. It was just a peck on the lips, peck on the cheek. That is bad. That is a telltale sign she's checked out of the relationship where she's not even kissing you anymore with her tongue. Also, like I mentioned, she doesn't want you touching her breasts. Oh, yeah, she is so checked out. Another thing, she stopped grooming herself. When a woman stops taking care of business down there, yeah, that's a telltale sign she's checked out, okay? Another thing is the consequences for men. The men that are in these sexless relationships, it kills their self esteem, it kills their motivation, it destroys you from the inside, okay? Men start to have resentment towards their partner and they feel like they have less value in general, right? It also affects, excuse me, it also affects their performance at work because the things that are happening in our personal lives do carry over into our work lives, and that happens to men, all right? But I appreciate you watching this far because now I'm going to get into the 5 steps and the things you need to do if you find yourself or are in a sexless relationship or a sexless marriage, okay? So first of all, you need to address it like a man, okay? Address it directly with your partner. No bullshit, no beating around the bush. You have masculine communication with her, no begging, no guilt. You say, look, I am not happy. And she's gonna look at you and be, what? What do you mean? Well, we're not having sex and I don't like it. We're not the way we used to be, and we need to talk about this. Now, forewarning, she's going to come up with all these fucking excuses because that's what women do, because they don't want to take accountability, don't want to be responsible, and they're all going to say shit like, well, it's because you don't take out the garbage when I ask you. You don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do that. Well, then you say, okay, well, I pay the bills on time. I pick up the kids from work. I do this and do that. And this conversation's not about the things I'm not doing or are doing. It's about the fact that the need that I have in this relationship is intimacy and affection, and this has to stop. And I want this. You point out what you want starting tomorrow, straight up, because that's how I communicated with my ex-wife. And you know, this is what's going to happen. She's most likely going to, like I said, give all these fucking excuses. She's going to say shit like, oh, I need some time. Oh, I need to work on it. And you say, no, I'm going to give you till tomorrow at noon and you make your decision. You don't have to give me a decision now. You make your decision tomorrow on how this is going to go. And then come tomorrow, you already know the answer based on her reaction. And then you have to be a man and be willing to leave like I did. I was like so fucking fed up with this shit. And I was like, I addressed it like a man, and I had masculine communication with her, and she was shocked. And then that's when I told her, I said, well, this isn't working for me, and I guess I have some things I need to think about, something like that. Because I needed to plan some stuff. I didn't want to like hit her right away with like, I want a divorce. So number 2, right? If she says no or she says yes, doesn't matter her answer. The second step you need to do if you've found yourself in a sexless relationship is you need to rebuild your attractiveness for 2 reasons. One, you do it for yourself. You need to work on your body. You need to work on your diet and get all that in order and improve yourself. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a 6-pack, okay? But you need to work on your attractiveness, not only for you to help boost up your self-esteem and your confidence again, but also you need to do it to increase your options when you start going out in the dating pool, because most likely this relationship is going to end and you're going to find yourself single again. And the more attractive you are, especially your body and the way you look, that the more options you're going to have. So that's number 2. Step number 3 is to stop over investing in her, right? You've probably given her everything she wants and she's still not happy and she's still rejecting you with sex, all right? It sucks and you feel like less of a man. I totally understand. I was there. Well, stop over investing. Stop doing all these extra things that you were once doing in the relationship because it's not getting you anywhere. Step number 4, you create some distance and some scarcity. Okay. So if she just says, well, I need some time, blah, 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 and you say, well, okay, I guess I know where things stand, then start distancing yourself, start spending more time over at your friends, right? And start taking vacations by yourself. And in the meantime, number 5, this is the last step, is be willing to walk away and start planning your exit. Okay. So what you're looking for is when you have that initial conversation is her reaction, and that's going to tell you what you need to hear, and it's going to suck because you've loved this person, right? You've been with this person. You've invested countless hours and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of money into this. I want to share this with you guys, okay? Imagine this. When I decided to walk away, I put $600,000 of renovations into this fucking house that we decided to renovate. 600,000, and it was almost finished. It was beautiful. And I walked away from it all because I was like, this is fucking done with this shit. And I had that conversation. She gave me her reaction and I knew the answer and I walked away. All right. So I encourage you guys to go through these 5 steps that I mentioned if you're in a sexless relationship, or to make sure, like the things I spoke about before and the warning signs, is to not be in a sexless relationship again. All right. Thanks for watching. And I want to hear from you in the comments. See you later.